What's up guys, this is Merc Music and I'm finally home and you guys no longer have to just watch raw gameplay of Battlefield 6 because I'm ready to give you guys my honest review of Battlefield 6. Now before we dive into this video, please just keep in mind that this video is not sponsored by EA and I'm free to share whatever opinions I want to about the game. I'm going to keep it real and talk about the things that I liked and didn't like and try to provide as much constructive feedback as possible. Now at the event, I got to play roughly 8 hours of Battlefield 6 on KBAM on the setup they provided, which was very nice, but it's also not my own personal setup and I do feel like I'll be able to get an even better feel for the game and provide even better feedback after the open beta, especially since I want to see how the game feels on controller. And the good news is that I enjoyed the game so much that I will absolutely be down to play, stream, and make videos on Battlefield 6 some more if you guys are down for that. So yeah, if you guys do enjoy this video and you want to see some more Battlefield 6 stuff, make sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're new, and let's talk about the good things in Battlefield 6. The graphic and sound design. I mean, come on, what are we talking about here? This has to be one of the best looking and best sounding games I've played in a hot minute. I know for a fact that if you watch the Battlefield 6 multiplayer reveal trailer, you're probably wondering, is the game going to actually look and sound as amazing as this is? And the answer is yes. The maps looked absolutely beautiful, the gun details, the character models, all that stuff, it all looked fantastic. And when it comes to audio design, I had a really easy time actually hearing enemy footsteps, but there was just something that was so much more immersive about the overall sound and audio. Like when I was playing at the event and streaming it live, I had so many people talking about how amazing the audio sounded. Whether it was bullets or RPGs flying past your soldier's face, hearing that low rumble of a tank rolling in, or like a jet soaring past, like, it's just so good. Look, I'm not trying to glaze the graphics and the audio too much, but whoever's tasked with making the graphics and the audio design for this game, they absolutely deserve a raise. But next up, let's talk about destruction. For Battlefield 6, they refer to this as tactical destruction, and it looks amazing, and it does change the flow of the maps, but there is a learning curve since you need to learn the maps themselves and understand what the limits to the destruction are. Because the amount of tactical destruction does vary from map to map. Peak is notably a much larger open map with less opportunities to blow things up, whereas Cairo and Empire had plenty of destructible parts of the environment. I just want to blow the bridge up. Let's do it, come on. There you go. Look at that. Oh, he took damage off that too. That was sick. I am curious to see if DICE might try to incorporate Levolution at some point for some of these other maps, or if they decide to remaster an older map from Battlefield 4, or if they might try to reintroduce map Easter eggs like we've seen in the past. Oh yeah, that reminds me, let's talk about the maps in Battlefield 6, which by the way, the maps were very solid and fun to play on. There was a really good diversity of not just the environments and visuals, but also the playstyles that each map offers. Peak is a larger open map which allows for plenty of opportunities to snipe and use long-range DMRs as well as drive vehicles, whereas the smaller playable maps like Iberian Offensive are very well suited for faster paced situations with SMGs, shotguns, and even melee only. But Cairo felt like it was the most balanced map in terms of playstyle variety. Snipers could hold down different lanes at range, but there were also tons of areas where close quarters combat with basically any weapon in the game are viable. But what I like the most about the new maps in Battlefield 6 is that they're just actually good, which can be difficult for some games to pull off, but they've done a really good job with making these maps feel familiar and even nostalgic, but they're brand new maps. Except for Operation Firestorm from Battlefield 3, which is being remastered. It's not going to be playable in the beta quite yet, I'm pretty sure, but it will be coming to the full game. But next up, we need to talk about movement in Battlefield 6, because some people felt like from a spectating standpoint, it looked like the game was too fast, but I can tell you from a playing standpoint, that's not quite the case. Now, I'm sure that some of you guys are going to try to debate me on this, but keep in mind, I've actually played the game, and from my point of view, it felt like this was some of the smoothest and most immersive movements in a Battlefield game without being too crazy or over the top. It definitely did not feel like Call of Duty. Things like mounting your weapon, corner slicing, and breaking through doors and windows are contextual and very smooth. There's no tack sprinting in Battlefield 6, and even though a lot of people were sliding around, you can't slide cancel, and sliding feels more situational than anything. And it's not always going to be the best movement choice for every gunfight. You can jump shot, you can drop into supine prone, you can even crouch sprint into gunfights and approach them in many different ways. And this is ultimately much more satisfying because you have to think more about how you approach these situations, and it adds way more variety to how the game actually plays. I found myself actually slowing things down more often than not and showing restraint and utilizing cover instead of just butt scooting all over the place like my character has a week-long booty rash. The only type of movements I struggle with was getting the combat roll to activate. It might have just been a skill issue, but I guess I just didn't get the memo on how to properly combat roll because my character only pulled it off like a few times. I gotta say though, I was so happy when I finally got it to work. Ooh, that's the first combat roll I did. That was from so high up, and that was so smooth. But yeah, overall the movement feels very responsive and moderately fast without being too over the top and unbearable to deal with. And as you play more and learn how to use the different techniques effectively, you'll be sending movement kings back to the lobby in no time. weapons. Even this early for Battlefield 6, the gunplay is super solid. There was a good variety of weapons to use, and they all looked and sounded fantastic. Each weapon is suited very well for its role. The SMGs and carbines dominate up close, but the range drop-off helps balance them out. Assault rifles and LMGs hold up well in close and medium range, but at longer distances, you might want to switch to a DMR or a sniper. Which, speaking of sniping, aggressive sniping is definitely possible in Battlefield 6, but it's going to be difficult. People are still trying to figure out if the sweet spot mechanic is back or not, but I was able to no-scope nade shot and get some nice snipes on Scump, Tim the Tatman, and Courage as well. Aside from that one pump shotgun that we could use, which was decimating everyone and everything at close range, there was a really good variety of weapons being picked, and it didn't feel like anything was really out of place. But again, it might be too early to tell. I gotta say, there was a really good amount of weapon customization though. You have to allocate your weapon attachment points when building classes, and there's some really good trade-offs depending on what you choose to run. BF6 also has a really nice firing range. It looks good and it has plenty of targets to shoot, although I do wish we had the ability to see the exact time to kill when shooting targets, as well as being able to swap to our secondaries and gadgets so we can test them out at the same time, but maybe that's coming later to the game. I was also hoping we would be able to inspect weapons, since it does seem like a feature in the settings, but it seemed like it was either turned off or disabled when we were playing. I promise I spammed the I key to try to get it to work in the firing range and in-game, but it just didn't want to do it. Aside from that though, I really enjoyed the weapons we had access to, and I'm excited to see what we'll be able to use in the full game. Gadgets and classes. I don't think we had access to every gadget that was being shown in the reveal trailer, but the gadgets we did have access to were so much fun to use. The assault class got access to the dreaded shotgun, as well as a stim shot and a grenade launcher. The engineer class had access to the classics like the RPG and the repair tool, which I did get some dope clips with.
There we go for the repair tool kill. Yes, we got it!
The support class had access to a supply bag, deployable barricade, as well as the defib, which led to some hilarious kills.
Please come here and get defibs. Wait, you can sprint with it out too. Let's go, dude. Let's see, can we sneaky bakey? Someone's like right here, dude. What?
Okay, you guys gotta link your EA account to Twitch.
And,
Come on, me.
Yup.
Just, what did he do? What did he do? What did he kill me with?
I love that the defib is not only amazing at reviving teammates, but also even better for surprising enemies, since you can basically mini sprint towards enemies instead of just purely walking at them like in previous games. But last and certainly not least, the recon class gets access to a motion sensor and tac beacon that you can use to spawn anywhere you want, which I use to spawn behind Methods and take his dog tags.
Hold up, yo, it's Methods right here. Let's get his dog tags. Got his ass. Yo, there you go.
But easily my favorite part of running recon was access to C4s. I blew a ton of people up and probably made them hate me, but I really just can't wait to test the possibility of C4 vehicle launching, as well as trying to rig vehicles with C4s and blow up enemy vehicles. I tried to pull it off multiple times on stream, but everyone at the event was just too good to allow that to happen. But yeah, those were all of the good things that I experienced from playing the game so far. Before we talk about the bad things in Battlefield 6 though, this next section is the good things about the game that don't necessarily have to do with what I played, but what we know about the game so far. Right off the bat, I think it's super dope that you don't have to pre-order Battlefield 6 to play in the open beta. It truly is going to be open for everyone. And regardless of whatever I say in this video, I highly recommend that you download the game and check it out for yourself and see what you think. It's also worth mentioning that it has been confirmed that Battlefield 6 is going to have a single player campaign, which is a massive W. It was very disappointing that Battlefield 2042 did not have this. They decided to go the Black Ops 4 route and just basically skip having a campaign, which is really not good for the game's identity. And I'm so happy that they're doing this for BF6. But what truly makes me even happier is that Portal will be returning in Battlefield 6, and it's going to allow for custom map making. Now, this is going to be a little bit of a quick sidebar, but I actually got a chance to talk to and meet Vince Zampella. You guys might know him as the absolute legend that made games like Call of Duty 2, Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare 2, as well as Titanfall, Titanfall 2, and Apex Legends. And they brought Vince in to help with the development of Battlefield 6. And the dude is an absolute legend, and from talking to him, it sounds like Portal in Battlefield 6 will be even more accessible and easy to use compared to Battlefield 2042. And honestly, man, it just seems like there's going to be so much potential with Portal in Battlefield 6. Which, speaking of Portal, it will be featuring Battle Royale, and that's how you're going to get access to playing it. Now, some people like this and some people don't. But as long as the core Battlefield multiplayer is solid, I don't really mind, and I hope that the Battle Royale mode is good too. But lastly, for the good things for Battlefield 6, and this could be a massive W if they do execute on this properly, but it's the topic of skins. The Battlefield devs confirmed that they don't want to compromise the identity of the game with goofy skins, saying, quote, "It has to be grounded. That is what Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 was. It was all soldiers on the ground. I don't think it needs Nicki Minaj. Let's keep it real, keep it grounded." Now, obviously, it's going to take some time to see if that statement statement's going to age like milk or if it's going to age like a fine wine. But if you look at Battlefield's long-standing history of how they've handled skins in multiplayer, they really haven't done anything that crazy, and I don't see that changing for Battlefield 6. But ladies and gentlemen, we have officially left the good section of the video, and now we're moving on to the bad stuff.
Ooh, scary.
Honestly, trying to pick apart things that were bad or needing improvements is going to be pretty difficult since this build of the game was very solid, especially compared to Battlefield 2042. This game seems much more polished and ready to go. It felt as if this build of the game is basically ready to launch. That being said though, there were a couple of weird things here and there. During the capture session, there was this really strange lighting bug that happened on the map Cairo, and I'm not exactly sure why it happened, but it definitely didn't look good. And when I was live streaming the events, I was playing on peak, and when I respawned, there was this really weird like texture thing that was happening. I really don't know how to explain it or why it happens, but that was the only time that that happened, as well as the previous clip.
Oh, dude, my screen debugging. What's going on here? Weirdest respawn I've had. Oh, we're good.
If you guys have been keeping up with the videos, then you probably saw this clip as well, but I was trying to drag teammates away to be able to revive them, and they started like clipping through an object on the map, and it was just a really weird situation, but ultimately it wasn't anything that bad, but I am curious to see if this is something that could break the game or if it could be some kind of glitch that could happen. But yo, I'm sure there's some people that feel some type of way about the pump shotgun in the game, because in the early capture events, it definitely saw a ton of usage, especially on squad deathmatch and domination, since the maps were a lot smaller and they had more close quarters combat situations. The catch though is that even though the shotgun had a really great one-hit kill potential, you had to be mindful of how much you were sliding or sprinting around and also how fast you were trying to spam out shots. The shotgun felt most effective when walking or crouching around, but it was balanced out by penalizing too much movement or playing too aggressively with it. Some people hated the shotgun and wants to see it get nerfed already before the open beta, but I do think that people should get more time to try it out and learn how to play to its strengths and how to counter it before asking for it to become an unusable paperweight that collects dust. Now I do also want to talk about the open weapon system versus the signature weapon system in Battlefield 6, because I believe the build we played on had the open weapon system, which some people are okay with, but let's be honest, the real Battlefield fans don't really care for it. For example, if you played the recon class and used the M2010 sniper, you would get the extra benefit of automatically spotting enemies for you and your team. With the open system though, you could also equip a sniper rifle while playing any of the other 3 classes in the game, but you would lose that extra perk, that extra benefit. This incentivizes players to use the signature weapons in their respective classes without fully limiting their options. And I really didn't mind this system, but if we're keeping it real, if I want to snipe in Battlefield 6, I'm going to use the sniper combo with recon. And I don't know, I just don't really see the point of having an open weapon system since you don't get a benefit of using the signature weapons on other classes unless you just want to goof around with them, which I guess is fine if you just don't really care. But since the hardcore Battlefield fans feel some type of way about this change, it just seems like it would be easier for them to stick to traditional classes and weapons and appeal to the core fans first. Because if you make them happy, then they will praise the game and encourage more people to check the game out. Now, to be fair, I'm not sure if this next thing really belongs in the bad section, but there were some absolutely hilarious corpse launches that were happening in Battlefield 6, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be some wet blankets out there that complain about it not being realistic enough, but I thought it was funny. I had a great time laughing at it, so just figured I'd mention it though. Man, this is supposed to be the bad section of the video, but it's really difficult to point these things out. But this next thing, it's not necessarily a bad thing or a complaint, but I am curious to see how voice chat will work in the full game. I'm not sure if Battlefield 6 would support proc chat or even death chat reactions, but the game is so much fun to play, and it has the potential to also expand on the social features within the game and make the experience even more fun. But time will tell on whether or not those kinds of features will be implemented or not. Another potential unknown that could possibly be a bigger issue is the topic of bots or AI in the multiplayer. Honestly, I think this was a big point of contention for Battlefield 2042, and I don't want to see them make the same mistakes. The problem with bots in online multiplayer games, regardless of the game itself, is that there's no satisfaction in dumping on a bunch of AI and tricking yourself into thinking that you're good at the game. We want to play real matches with and against real players. That's the entire point of an online multiplayer game. Being able to play co-op matches against AI like in Battlefront 2 and even Battlefield 2042 is fine, but the main experience itself shouldn't use botfill to artificially populate the servers. At least, I hope it won't. And when it comes to other hot topics like skill-based matchmaking or aim assist on controller, it shouldn't be as big of an issue in Battlefield 6 since the game apparently doesn't have rotational aim assist, and the game will have a server browser which allows you to pick exactly what map and mode you want to play on. It is good to be mindful if anything changes, but at the moment, Battlefield 6 does seem to be safe from those particular issues. Now again, another potential concern for some people is cheaters and hackers. They are going to be using Javelin Anti-Cheat, a first-party anti-cheat that they've been developing for a while now that has been in Battlefield 2042 for a while and is also also integrated into Battlefield Labs, which means it's been tested on Battlefield 6 already. Now, I'm not sure if Battlefield 6 will have some kind of ranked mode or not, but even playing on PC, I personally haven't run into any hackers in the games I've played on PC, including Battlefield 4, Battlefield 1, Battlefield 5, and Battlefield 2042. Now, I'm not saying that they don't exist, but I also haven't ever run into any cheaters on a Battlefield game. This really feels like it's getting philosophical in a way, but just know that EA and DICE have an anti-cheat for the game, and we'll see how things go. And if you're concerned about cheating or hacking in Battlefield 6, you can always play on console and turn off crossplay, which yes, crossplay is confirmed for the game as well. It's also worth mentioning that Battlefield 6 is not going to be on last-gen consoles like the PS4 or Xbox One. This is a great thing for pushing the limits of the game and having a truly next-gen and great Battlefield game, but it is bad news for those who are still on last-gen consoles. It might be time to upgrade if you want to try this game out. Oh, and Battlefield 6 apparently won't be on Switch 2 either, which does bum me out because I've been wanting my Switch 2 to double as a portable grill. But the most important thing that I think we should all be mindful about though for Battlefield 6 is the open beta itself. This is a critical moment for EA and DICE because you don't have to pre-order the game to play it, meaning that this could possibly be the biggest Battlefield beta in franchise history. And while that could potentially be amazing for their numbers, it also means that they're gonna have to prepare and make sure their servers can handle that many people and that things will run smoothly. Otherwise, everyone else's first impressions of the game might not go over as well. But aside from some small little things here and there and some potential issues that might not even be real issues, that's all I've got for the bad side of things. Again, everyone at the event only had so much time to play and run into weird bugs or glitches or problems. I do think that time will tell, and once a significantly larger amount of players get on the game and try to break things, we will probably end up discovering some more problems. The good news is that the Battlefield Labs testing and enthusiasm from the devs has me hopeful that they're going to drive the game into the right direction and do what they can to make an incredible Battlefield game. And from what I've played so far, the game was amazing, and more importantly, I had a lot of fun playing it, which is all that really matters for me. And you already know that I'm gonna try to C4 launch vehicles across the map in the open beta. Now, I've been playing Battlefield games since the first Bad Company, and as you guys might know, I'm also quite a big COD fan. I've been playing that series since Call of Duty 4, and I think the only other question we have at this point now is, will Battlefield 6 kill Call of Duty? But that's a topic for another video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do hope you guys enjoyed my honest review of playing Battlefield 6 so far. If you guys did enjoy this video and you want to see some more Battlefield 6 stuff, make sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys later.
Outcome. Train going.